Good morning. We are going to go ahead and get started. You could be in a chair or you could be sitting on the floor. Either way, you're going to sit in a position that allows the hips to come forward, chest to lift, sitting in this proud seat. On your inhale, we're going to roll the shoulders up. Exhale, shoulders down the back. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, shoulders down the back. One more here. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, shoulders down the back. Keeping the chest lifted, we'll drop the nose down toward the floor. Let's just start with a little bit of meditation, just dropping inward. Trying to let go of all thoughts in the mind and instead tuning in to the sensory body. What can you observe? Lengthen out the breathing. So I'm going to add a little to the exhale by squeezing the abdominals in, and a little to the inhale, allowing the rib cage to expand. A couple more nice deep inhales, long exhales. On your next inhale, slowly open the eyes and come back into space. All right, let's do a neck roll. So you're going to drop your nose down toward the floor and then circle with the nose. Nice big neck rolls. The biggest circles that you can do. And we'll pause in that direction. Let's rotate the other way. Nice big circles. And the next time that the nose is toward the floor in that starting position, we'll pause there and then lift the head. All right, let's take the hands to the shoulders here. We'll circle at the elbows. Keeping the breath flowing, maybe even deepening the breath here. And pause there and rotate the other way. Again, nice big circles. And then we'll release the arms. Going to bring the hands down to the thighs or the hips here, and we'll circle at the hips. So making sure that the rotation is coming all the way down in the hips. You're not just kind of rolling the head around. In fact, the head and neck should be neutral here. And then I'm going to pause there and go the other way. And then work our way back to center. Let's take a turn here, taking a twist around the spine toward the left. Inhale back to center, and then exhale, twist toward the right. Inhale, we'll come on back to center. Let's take the left hand down. Again, if you're on the chair, just grab the edge of the chair. The right hand up and over. From here, I'm going to try and turn, opening the chest a little more toward the ceiling. Inhale, we'll come on back up. I'm going to come over to the other side. Right hand down, left hand up and over. Inhale, we'll come on back up to center. We're going to take the hands back. If you're in the chair, grab the edge of the chair. Draw the shoulders back and down. Lift the chest up now into a back bend if that's comfortable. Tailbone would come down and have the bone tilt forward. If it feels okay, yeah, you could look up or back, or you might just look straight ahead, whatever the neck is wanting to do. And inhale, we'll come one up from there. And now if you're in the chair, then take the soles of the feet together on the floor and just have your knees kind of open here. And you can use your hands back on your chair to come on forward. If you're on the floor, then you're going to go ahead and do the same thing. You're going to put your soles of your feet together in a longer body konasana. So a little bit forward and not as far in as they might otherwise be. Knees out to the side and come on forward here. If your shoulders and back are rounding, then keep your hands back to try to keep some length in the spine. On an inhale, we'll come on up. You can release the legs into anything that feels comfortable here. One more in this position. Let's take the hands out, thumbs down, tops the hands toward each other. And take the right hand and cross it over top of the left. Interlace the fingers, and then pull the hands through, stopping when that wrist says to. And then we'll unwind here, releasing the hands, coming back to the starting position. We'll take the left hand over the right, interlace the fingers, and then pull through. And then inhale and unwind, releasing the hands. Okay, we're gonna work our way into the hands and knees. You're in a chair, just coming up and gently working your way down. If you want to pad your knees with a blanket, you can, not required. We're going to have the knees hip distance apart and the feet hip distance apart and the hands right underneath of the shoulders. I'm going to spread those fingers on the floor and try to take the weight off the wrist. So if you're feeling like you're sinking into your wrist, then push into the hands and try and just train our hands to support us more. So pushing down with your fingers. We're not doming or lifting the wrist off the floor. We're just trying to reduce some of the weight by distributing it across your fingers. All right, so from here, let's do a little cat-cow. Tailbone up, chest up, belly drops toward the floor on your inhale. Exhaling, arching the back, lifting the center of the back up towards the ceiling. Cat pose. I'm going to move back and forth here. Trying to keep the inhales and exhales nice and long, smooth, and even. And the next time that you come into that cat pose with the arched back, you're going to take your hips to your heels in a prayer pose and reach through your hands. Extending the arms, elbows off the floor. Pause here in prayer pose. Inhale, come on back up to that hands and knees. We're going to take the hands a little bit forward and then bring the hips in line with the shoulders and the knees, half plank pose. So here you're going to actively push down into your hands. Again, you're spreading those fingers, trying to distribute the weight. And take your toes of your right foot and reach back through that heel. So you're going to try and lift the knee off of the mat. That's a 3/4 plank pose, breathing here. I'm going to bring that knee back down so you're back in your half plank pose. When we come to the other side, tuck the toes of your left foot, reach back through that heel, 3/4 plank on this side. You can bring that knee down, coming back into your half plank pose. Now elbows in, we're going to lower down to the floor all the way down, reach back through your feet, tops of the feet down, tailbone down, lift the head and the chest, cobra pose, elbows in and shoulders down, away from the ears. Exhale and lower the chest back down. We're going to bring the elbows underneath of your shoulders now in Sphinx pose. And draw the shoulders down away from the ears. Lift the head, see if you can look up toward the ceiling. So that tailbone is still down. Now, if your back is feeling okay here, spread your fingers on the floor and try and straighten the elbows. So this is going to make you come up a little higher. Keep the shoulders down away from the ears. And if you straightened your elbows, we'll bring them back down to the floor, back in Sphinx pose. And then we'll bring the hands back by the shoulders. We're going to push up into that half plank pose. And then draw the hips back over the knees. We're going to walk your hands back by your knees. And take your knees wide and tuck your feet under. And the spacing here is really kind of up to you. We're going to work our way into a balancing squat. And so to do that, and then tuck your toes under and then walk your hands in so that your knees pop up toward the ceiling. And you may, once you get there, decide, hey, I want a little wider, and that's okay. So you can make your feet a little wider. You can start to draw your heels toward the floor. If your heels can come to the floor, that's great. And then we're going to work our way up here. So starting to lift up at the chest, or at the top of the head. Bring your hands to your heart if you can. Elbows off your knees if you can. Starting to lift up and balance here. Now, once you're up, you can do anything you like with your hands. You might take them out to the side. You might take them over your head. Just breathing here, trying to be as tall as you can. And then from here, we're going to work our way up to standing, any way that works for you. I'm going to be standing in Tadasana mountain pose. So finding your feet on the floor, outside edges of the feet parallel. You can kind of look down at your feet and check that out. So your hip distance apart, outside of the feet parallel. I'm just going to rock a little bit here, forward and back. So as you come forward, start to lift your heels just a little bit. So forward lifting and then rocking back. And as you rock back, lift your toes. And as you're doing this rocking, I'd like you to really sense down into your feet. Notice if they're uneven. If there's one foot you can feel contacting the earth in a particular place and it's not the same on the other side. If that's the case, try to even things out. You might try lifting your heels a little higher when you come forward. You might even go way up. ballerina style. You do that with control. See how high you can lift when you're lifting your heels. Can you go straight up toward the ceiling? And also noticing if you can control the motion, or are you just kind of falling? A couple more here. Coming back to balance on 2 feet, both soles of the feet on the floor. And connect to the left and right sides of the feet. Spread your toes. See if you can spread out those toes on the floor. And then toning the muscles of the legs. You're going to pull all the way up into your core. Shoulders back and down. Hands by the sides or turned out, your choice. And nose and chin in line with the floor. Going to draw the ears back in line with the shoulders. Feel a connection from your feet through the legs, up the body, and all the way out the top of the head. And keep that connection. We'll take the palms out to the side. Inhale, bring the arms up. You're going to bring the palms together and cross the thumbs, coming into crescent pose to the right. And tip down, keep your shoulders in line. Inhale, back up to center and crescent pose, other side. Inhale, come on back to center. Release the hands to the lower back. I'm going to draw the shoulders back and down. It's going to go back bend, tailbone forward, lift the chest. You might look back behind. You might just look straight ahead. The further back you go, the more that tailbone has to come forward. Inhale, we'll come on back up. I'm going to fold forward here. Uttanasana, standing forward bend. You'll lift the tailbone up toward the ceiling. Upper body softens down. If you can't touch the floor, you could have your hands on a chair, a piece of furniture, or some blocks. I'm going to take a slight bend to the knees, abdominals in. We're going to roll our way back up to standing. Bring your hands to your hips. Nice deep inhale. On your exhale, bend your knees. On an inhale, push into the feet and come back up. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, pushing the feet, come back up. Exhale, bend the knees. Last one here. Inhale, pushing the feet, come up. And exhale, bend the knees and hold. Chair pose, tailbone toward the floor, abdominals in, shoulders back, and if you're okay there, arms up and over your head, elbows straight. Check in with your feet. Try to balance the weight across the whole foot. It's from the heel to the toes. If you want more challenge here, try to lift your heels just like you did when we were balancing earlier, but this time hold. Try to lift your heels and balance in balancing chair. You can also just keep those heels down. If your heels are up in balancing chair, root them back down to the floor and then push into your feet now. We're going to come up and release the arms. Good. Let's take a twist around the spine. All right, we are going to work on a posture. We're going to be bringing your feet together and coming down into a twist. If you're having trouble with balancing, I'd like you to use a support. And so a chair is great here. You'll want to be near something that's not going to move. So if you are using a chair, then place it on a mat so that it's not going to slide somewhere. I'll give you a second to figure that out if you're going to use that. If you're feeling okay and balancing, and you're like, I'll probably be okay, then you can try this without. And if it doesn't work, then you just grab a hold of that chair or move next to something that you need. We are going to be turning toward the right to begin. So if you are using a support, have it to your right. And then from here, we're going to take your feet together. Now, I want the legs and feet to somewhat touch. And if you are like me and you can't bring your feet completely together without the knees pushing too much together, then keep a little space between the feet. So if the legs already come together without your inside edges of your feet touching, then we want the legs together, if that makes sense. So as close as is comfortably possible, but still allowing you to bend your knees easily, comfortably, not harming the kneecap in any way. Okay, so once you're here, you got both feet together, you're balancing in this very narrow two-footed pose here. And then bring your hands together at the heart. And breathing down into your feet. Seeing your balance, how's your balance point here? How is this? Not our usual way. There's usually more space between the feet. Just getting a sense for where's that balance point. And then from here, we're going to bend both knees together and come down to this mono leg chair pose. So it's just like chair pose that we just did earlier. Only this time the legs are close together, and feel free to squeeze together. And I'd like you to come down as low as you can. Breathing, keep the breath moving. And then from here, we're going to turn toward the right. Now, what I want you to do is to twist around your spine. I don't want you to swing your hips, so keep your hips where they are. Turn the chest toward the right. And now here is where you could take a hand, your left hand onto your support. And your right hand then would come to your right hip and start to open the chest a little more toward that side. If you're not using a support, keep turning, and if you can, bend your knees more so that you can hook your elbow to the outside of the knee, and then you can draw your thumbs back to the center of the chest. So we might be here, or you might be with your knees really bent. It doesn't matter how low you go. It does matter that you don't swing your hips. Draw the top shoulder back. You might look to that side. Breathing here. On an inhale, I'm going to release the twist, push into the feet, and come on back up to standing. Take the feet back apart, about hip distance apart. Going to bring the hands to the hips and hula hoops, just circling. Releasing the back. And remember which way you're turning here. Try to take a mental note of which direction you're going with your hula hoop. And then we're going to come on back to center. We're going to switch sides. So if your furniture piece is permanent, just turn around. That works too. Otherwise, you could move it over. If you're not using the furniture piece, then no worries. We're just going to work on the other side. So with the left, with your support on your left. And once again, bring your feet as close as reasonably possible. So you can still easily bend your knees. I'm going to bring the hands to the heart, just trying to center here. Where is my center point? And then from here, you're going to bend your knees and start to drop down. Try to keep the legs together. As you come on down, try to get as low as is comfortable, but still challenging. And then twisting around the spine, we're going to turn the chest toward the left. And here's where you could release your opposite hand, your right hand, onto your support, your left hand then onto your hip, and start to open the chest here. If you're low enough or want to come lower, you could bend your knees more, hook that right elbow to the outside of the knee, draw the thumbs back to the center of the chest. Keep the breath moving into the nose, out the nose. On the inhale, we'll unwind, push into the feet, and come on up. We'll take those feet back apart again, bring the hands to the hips. Now, if you remember which direction you went last time in your hula hoop, go the other way. And then coming on back to center. So for this next one, I'm going to ask that you find a spot against a wall. Oh, we haven't done anything with the wall before. So find a spot in your room that there is a clear space of wall. And what we're looking for is a space of wall that is shoulder height, that you can push against, is not going to fall over. So if it's a piece of furniture, that could work too, but make sure it's a stable, sturdy piece of furniture. Let me show you what we'll do before you find your wall, so you can look back. We're going to be turning toward the wall, hands on the wall, shoulder width apart. We're going to be working on a bit plank at the wall. So that's where we're going. So you want to find a spot at the wall. I'll give you a minute or two to find that. If at all possible, you want to have your feet 2 to 3 feet away from that surface end, so away from the wall. So hopefully you have a little section somewhere, either wall or a strong flat piece of furniture that you can work with. You only need about shoulder width apart, and you need to have some clearing on the floor in front so that you can have your feet 2 to 3 feet away from the wall, and you're going to stand facing your wall with the feet hip distance apart. Now, I'll talk you through it because you may not even be able to see your camera or see your screen right now. So I'll keep talking. You're going to stand with your feet hip distance apart, outside edges parallel. You're going to bring your hands to your wall or surface, placing the hands shoulder width apart. And you want to have your hands at shoulder level. So many times we go too high for this. So try to bring your hands at shoulder level, shoulder width apart, and flat onto your surface. Spreading your fingers wide. So fingers wide, pressing into that surface. We're now going to draw your elbows to face down toward the floor so that when they will bend going down toward the floor. And you can feel in your shoulders what that rotation is. So we're going to roll the outside edges of your arms down, bending your elbows now. We're going to start to draw your chest toward the wall. Keep your back straight. So you're leaning toward the wall. You might even bring your elbows to contact the wall. If you do that, you have your elbows, forearms, and hands on your wall surface, and you're leaning in. And those elbows should be shoulder width apart, not chicken arms sticking out to the side. I'm going to hold here. And then actively push into your hands and straighten the arms. Coming back to that starting position. We'll do that one more. So elbows down toward the floor. Still shoulder width apart with those elbows. Bend the elbows, maybe bringing them all the way in contact with your surface. And then push into the hands and straighten the arms. Now, if that was pretty easy for you and you want more challenge, take your hands about 2 inches higher. Come up onto your toes on the floor. So push into your toes and lift your heels. And then do the same thing. You're going to bend those elbows and come into your surface, elbows down toward the floor, and back up. If that's still too easy for you, take a bigger step back away from your wall so you're kind of leaning into your wall. So now you may be 4 feet, 5 feet or more, as long as you can still touch the wall. And then again, bend your elbows, keep the body straight, and push away. So wherever you are, you could be in that starting position. We're just bending those elbows, bringing them maybe in contact with your surface, and pushing away. A couple more here. We're going to try and keep your back straight. We're not curling or rounding to get there. The whole body is in a line. One more. And then you can step in closer if you came away. Release your arms here. Stay at your wall surface. We're going to be turning sideways at your wall. So you're going to turn with your right side facing the wall. And we're going to start with your right hand on your surface, a little bit higher than your shoulder. So maybe a couple of inches higher than the shoulder, right hand on the wall, and you can step away from your wall until your arm is completely straight. So your arm is straight, right hand on the wall, and your whole right side of the body is facing the wall. Now from here, we're just going to work this side. So roll that elbow down toward the floor. You should feel an outer rotation in the shoulder when you do that. The upper part of the shoulder rolls back and down toward the floor. Then bend just your right arm and lean into the wall. Again, your elbow may come to the floor. Now, when you do that, keep the whole body straight and then push into that hand and straighten the arm. And do that a couple more times. So we're just doing one side of what we did earlier. You're going to bend the elbow, taking it perhaps to your wall and then pushing away. Now, if you're not coming all the way to the wall, that's okay. Again, we're working at your challenge place. So if you are able to come all the way to the wall, you'll do that and then push away. One more here. And then you'll relax that side. We're going to try the other side. So you're going to turn around so that your left side is facing the wall. Taking your left hand onto the wall a little bit higher than your shoulder level. And turning the elbow down so that when it bends down toward the floor. Outer rotation of that left shoulder down toward the floor. When you're ready, you'll bend that left elbow, leaning in and push away. So again, you might be coming all the way to the wall. If you want more challenge, take a step away from the wall to get more distance there. Let's do a few of them here, bending that elbow, maybe taking it to the wall and pushing away. And then we'll release, you can release that arm. Good, you can work your way back to your mat. I'm going to stand back into Tadasana. Give people a minute here to come back to their mat. Bring your hands together at the heart. And on inhale, take the arms up, palms together. Exhale, sleep with the heart, Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Again, if you can't touch the floor, you could just let your head hang and arms hang. Or you might have them on a chair or blocks. And then take a bend of the knees, come on back up to standing. And step your right foot forward and your left foot back for warrior one. Square those hips toward what's in front. Right foot forward, left foot back. Square the hips, tailbone down, front knee bends. So that front knee right over your ankle. Arms up when you're ready here, warrior one. Release the hands now to your lower back, shoulders back and down. Let's come into a little bit of a back bend. So you're going to keep that tailbone down toward the floor, lift the center of the chest right up toward the ceiling. And then if you're comfortable here, you could keep going backward. You might look up, you might look behind. But if your balance needs you to look straight ahead, then please do that. Strong in the legs, front knee still bent. Inhale, we'll come on back up. Take the arms back overhead, warrior one. Release the hands to the hips. We're going to step your back foot forward and your front foot back. So we're going to switch sides, left foot forward, warrior one. Front knee bends, back leg straight, tailbone down, chest lifting, all those things. And then the arms up and over the head, warrior one. And then we'll release the hands down to the lower back, coming into our back bend here. Strong in the legs, lifting the center of the chest toward the ceiling, shoulders back and down, and maybe looking up or back or just straight ahead. On inhale, we'll come on back up, arms overhead, warrior one. And then release the arms. We'll step the feet together. We're going to work our way down onto the mat. And I think we're going to start sitting. So you can grab a hold of a blanket, but also get a strap if you have one. If you don't have one, you can use the back of your shirt. We're going to work into Gomukasana in the arms. So you can sit in any comfortable position with the legs. And you're going to have your strap in your hand. So I'm going to get my camera to follow me here. All right. Okay. So sitting in your comfortable position, allowing that chest to be lifted. I'm going to take your strap into your right hand. And then you're going to bring that arm up and over your head, bending your elbows, starting to drop your hand and the strap down the center of the back. Your left hand will come out to the side. Roll your thumb toward the floor, full rotation in that shoulder. Bend your elbow, find your strap, bringing your hands closer and closer together. Then when you found that position, we'll take both shoulders back behind, drawing your right elbow back. It's over by the top of your head. And release that side. We're going to come to the other side. So taking your strap into your left hand. And lift that strap up and over your head, then bend your elbow, starting to drop the hand and the strap down the center of the back. Right arm out to the side, rotate all the way to the shoulder, thumb toward the floor. Bend your elbow, find your strap, walk your hands toward each other. Both shoulders draw back behind, your left elbow up toward the ceiling. Release the arms. You can set your strap aside. We're going to take the left leg out to the side in a wide position, left leg out. Right leg's going to come in. So the right knee bent, bringing your right foot in close to your thigh, just the left side out. And then we're gonna come down sideways here. So starting to drop your left side body down to over that left leg. Take your right hand to your right hip. Draw the shoulder back and start to open the chest here. Now, if your shoulder can stay back, that right arm is free. It might come up and over your head. It might come all the way towards your foot. Just don't curl. Don't turn the chest toward the floor any way that you are here. And inhale, I'm going to come on back up. And now right between the knees, we're going to come forward here. So leaning forward, if you're able to bring your elbows to the floor, you can start to drop your nose down toward the floor. I don't want you to round the back. So if you're curling, then keep your hands back behind so you can lead with the chest. Inhale, we'll come on up. And we'll switch sides, drawing that leg in, right leg out, left leg in. When you're ready, we'll come on down over that right side, dropping the whole right side body down, a left hand on the left hip, opening the chest toward the ceiling. And again, you could take that hand up and over your head, but don't curl. So trying to keep your chest as open as you can. On inhale, we'll come on back up. And then right between the knees, we'll come on forward here. On inhale, we'll come on back up. You can release that leg, sit into any comfortable seat here. Hands on the thighs or the knees, shoulders back and down. And drop the nose down toward the floor and close the eyes. Just noticing the quality of the breath. And sensing through the body, noticing if anything has changed over practice. And then bringing the hands together at the heart. Keep the eyes closed here. connecting with a sense of gratitude that we're able to practice together. We're able to do this practice, this very old, very old practice, calming our minds, calming our bodies. Thank you all for joining today and sharing this practice. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and be sure to say hi to each other if you haven't already at the end of class. Namaste.